Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo. We're here at NFMLA and I'm delighted to be joined with Dennis with his fantastic feature, Paradox Lost. Let's take a look at the clip.
How does it work?
Oh, it's real simple, actually. You just close this main door here, and then you take some of the black rocks and you put it in with green rocks, and then it takes you back to the moment you left, but like a few seconds forward, which is nice. So.
Right, no, but like time travel, how does time travel work?
Oh, how does time travel work? Sure, great question. I'm not really sure.
Dennis, I'm so glad we get to do this in person.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you for watching the film.
Thank you for making it, creating it, and being part of it.
Back and forth the whole
yeah,
time.
this is just basically just lifting up your, your greatness.
And I appreciate you taking the time to watch the film and for doing this interview. So thank you for
having me.
Of course.
No, thanks so much. For those that haven't seen your film, if you can, tell us a brief synopsis.
It is about a struggling Los Angeles comedian who is scared of becoming a failure like he feels his father was. So he cuts things off from a blossoming relationship in order to pursue his career full time. He doesn't know at that time that his significant other is pregnant, and then he gets a visit from a stranger from the future who tells him the world that you expect is not what it's going to be, and also I'm your son and why didn't I matter?
Mm-hmm. I've never seen a film like this in my life. Like I was so.
You're very kind.
I know, and I love being challenged with this. Like, what is going on in this film? This is so much little details in here. So I'm just curious. I'm hoping this is not inspired by true events, or maybe it is. But where did the inspiration come for you in creating this particular story?
When I've been out here for a while and always wanted to do film. And a while back, I was in a 3-year relationship with somebody, and that person was wonderful. It was a wonderful relationship. But I found I was focusing so much more on shooting or improv or projects or career. And eventually that person broke up with me, and they should have. And what I found myself doing after that breakup was having these weird conversations. I'd be driving in my car and having these conversations with my son who didn't get to exist because of my selfish choices. And this kid would be saying, does making movies matter more than me?
Wow.
And that was the genesis of the idea.
Wow.
So I made a movie about how you shouldn't just focus your time on making movies.
I love that. I love that.
It's very nice of you.
And I mean, goodness me, I mean, that's something that I love that you've taken it from a sort of, personal element and put it into kind of a, therapeutic film for everyone to acknowledge in this really wonderful style. But you obviously didn't play the part of this particular character. You played a magnificent character that I've never seen before in any film that I just want to see more of.
You're very nice.
But tell us a little bit about how you decided to take on that particular role and bring in your other lead cast members.
I do a lot of improv in LA, and basically it came down to I knew I was making it for cheap. Mm-hmm. So I am lucky to have a lot of talented actors in my friend circle. So it came down to who do I have already that I can get for cheap or free that I can trust to do this. Mm-hmm. So I took very close friends, play most of the main parts, and then I knew I could count on myself to be there if I ever needed to do reshoots. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm, so put yourself in it. And also I don't feel, I feel like when doing the acting part of it, it's much easier to step out of it if you play something that's very far from yourself. So grow the beard out, become as shaggy as possible.
Yeah.
It just lets you separate from it a little bit.
Absolutely. And I'm obsessed with improv. Even for these interviews, I never have questions. I'm always going off the moment-to-moment experience.
I apologize for asking this. Do you do improv in the city? Have you done any of the schools?
I haven't done. I feel life is a bit of an improv, and I do want to get involved. But
it's perfect.
Well, at least for me anyway, I never know what I'm doing next. But I love that it's like you created like a long-form improv film. Like I was so, for anyone that doesn't know, what does that kind of consist of? A long form kind of improv film, because obviously there were elements in there which did have improvisation, I believe, right?
Yeah, basically what I wanted to do was, I feel like we started shooting this, I hated admitting this, we started shooting this in 2016, so it's been a hot minute. And at that time, I had not seen many films use the world of, I was very deep in indie improv in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I had not seen any films just use that as like a base reality for the film. So I didn't want to make a film about improv, but I thought it'd be very cool to just use that as a base reality. Like I've seen a lot of movies that will do like a stand-up comedian or basically comedy that way, or a TV writer or something, but the world of indie improv was what I was living in at the time, and I was like, I have not seen a film use this.
Yeah.
So I had those locations and those people and that lived experience, so I thought, write a thing where that's the base reality.
Wow. And what's that experience like, being in front of camera doing this and behind camera? Like, what?
It's
like,
it's crazy. It's very rewarding and good, but it's very, very hard, and you have to have a lot of people who you trust around you, and you have to, as narcissistic as it seems to be, shooting it and being in it, you have to try and not be super narcissistic about, I will give myself 3 takes on my side, and then we will go no matter what, because we don't have time. But it was very, very hard.
Yeah, what I loved as well is I always love when there's just so many kind of cross genres in there, like, you know, romantic comedy, dark comedy, sci-fi, thriller, drama. Like, you had everything in there, like, in the film, which was always fascinating to watch because you never knew which direction you were going to take us. Was that sort of an intention you had before, of just not kind of sticking to something, but just kind of being explorative with the different kind of genres and where you were taking us?
What is nice about doing your own stuff? I write features and try and sell features in like the big Hollywood system, which is great and wonderful and lovely. But you very much are like, I'm aiming for this, I'm trying for this, I'm in this box of this. When you're doing your own thing, it's the freedom of, this is what is inside of me, these are the things I like, I'm going to do them all and see what happens, and I'm not going to put any limitations on what I'm doing. And comedy and drama and sci-fi, those are all things that I enjoy, and if it went bad, you never have to show anyone, but it's your thing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And what I loved too is you're creating this, it was so interesting because you were this son of a person of the future, right? Of the son of this father of the future. If you want to, I know what I'm talking about. You got to watch it. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I can't articulate it because it was never meant to be. But I'm just saying it was fascinating watching that, and like, without seeing the world that you've come from, I could imagine this world, this kind of dark world that you'd experienced. What was it like, kind of like coming from a place as an actor, from feeling this kind of world, but also I felt like you had a very surreal kind of LA kind of world within Los Angeles too, which I loved.
That's very nice of you. I feel like for me, I love those kinds of films, but also I feel like anytime you have like time travel in a movie, you're asking a lot. And I'm hoping the film is grounded, but also make it feel a little surreal just because of the nature of time travel. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, to me, it helps me accept it a little bit more if the feeling is a little more elevated, a little more surreal.
Yeah, I felt like what I also enjoyed as well with you and your father, and and your parents. Like, I love that you kind of left us in a lot of moments of just honest, you know, just kind of connectivity. What was it like working with each other? Because you had such a great connection.
Honest to God, Danny, who plays my father, also Danny, sorry, is he's been my best friend for years and years. We have a sketch and improv team that plays all the time when the UCB was open at the UCB. So I knew we could do this, and I knew, even though we were tight on the script, I knew that once we had the script, we've improvised with each other enough that we can feel it out and play around a little bit. I will say that doing a movie is much different from doing sketch or improv. And we were shooting 8 pages a day and doing 15-hour days because we didn't have the money to do more than that. But it was very stressful on our friendship in like a way that making anything is stressful.
Yeah.
But I think if I did not have him and we weren't such good friends before this, it would be impossible. Yeah. And because we were such good friends, it was just very, very, very hard.
Yeah. Well, that kind of worked well with his character because he was agitated quite a lot of the time with his futuristic son. So what was the hardest part about making this film?
All of it. I mean, I'm sure, as you guys all know, and I'm sure you're making a feature for very little money. You're begging everyone for the locations. You're paying very little. So it is begging people to care about a thing as much as you do, and not having the money to just go, I'll pay you a fortune to care about this. It's just begging, and just a lot of hard work you got to put into it. I mean, the whole thing was very hard. We had to shoot 90 pages, and it became 15 days. It was 12 to start, but it was just difficult.
I think with all the characters, what I always love as well, the arc of characters and how characters develop in a story, is that there was moments where we all felt a lot of different emotions towards each 3 of the characters, but
very
you know,
nice.
we all at the end just realized their own individual circumstances. Did you kind of want to bridge at the end where I felt like everybody was kind of understood on why they made the choices that they made and why they felt the way that they felt?
It's very lovely of you to say. Yeah, I mean, I think there are bad people in the world, but I don't think, I mean, I've heard it a million times. People don't think they're bad people. I think,
Yeah.
I like understanding where even someone who you're like at the beginning of a thing is like, I don't like where they're coming from, they're a bad person. I like
Yeah.
understanding everyone, letting you know that maybe you don't agree with their choices, but you at least understand where they're coming from.
Absolutely. Well, I love also, I mean, goodness me, I wish I wish it was a true story that, you know, these
too.
people, that I wish it was a true story that particularly the homelessness side of things, which obviously you can't miss in Los Angeles. I wish they were all from the future and had some answers and came from better experiences. But, you know, I love that dynamic that you added in there as well, because, you know, it's a thing that happens here, and it's so sad with all the homelessness.
It is living here specifically. I think the idea of, and please cut this out. The idea of people having billions of dollars,
Yeah.
human beings having billions of dollars, and then other people living under a bridge.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, I feel like, for people to just dehumanize those people.
Yeah.
But I think we are lucky. It should be fixed. It should be
Yeah.
taken care of. We should help these people. But I
Right.
think we're very lucky to be exposed to it so much, as opposed to just, it makes it harder, it makes it easier to have empathy for people in that circumstance. It makes it much harder to just be like, that's something that I don't deal with.
Yeah. Everyone's
me.
human. Everyone's got a story to tell. you
They're
know?
all people. They're all
Yeah.
someone's kid.
Yeah, I know. No, I just, in a fantasy world, I just wish that everyone did have, you know, just someone taking care of them the way that it kind of felt in this film. It was just, you know, really
would be
nice
nice.
dynamic. It would be nice. So what is next for you?
I'm working on a feature that is out there. I'm trying to get, that is about a 30-something who was unhappy with his life, who never got over the failure of his first failed love. Used to work at a video store, and then one day the video store magically reappears, and he's able to rent and revisit the best days of that failed relationship. But it comes at a cost. For every day he spends in the past, he loses a day in the present.
Wow, there's always a lot of trials and tribulations. I love it. I love where you're
you so
you're
much.
taking us. I mean, you know, it causes all this. It's brilliant. I love it. And what, I mean, for you personally, is that kind of the genre of this sort of, you know, kind of a person that's come from difficulty and how they go over that kind of hurdles? Is that kind of something you enjoy?
I love that. I love hope in movies. I love magical realism. I love taking a grounded thing and just adding a little bit of magic to it. Like, that's why I go to the movies. What do you
Yeah.
go to the movies for? Is
I
that
think,
too much?
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's great. I think I always want to be challenged with being educated and inspired.
That's beautiful.
You know, no, I could. It's just, hey, we could talk about this all day, couldn't we? It's wonderful. So, with that being said, finally, from this project or just anything that you can kind of share as an artist, is there any kind of thing that you kind of go by? Is there any kind of advice you tell yourself? Like, is there anything that you could share with our filmmaking audience?
I would say don't ever stop. There's always going to be ups and downs. Appreciate the ups, because they will help you in the downs, and also don't ever stop. And if you're making something low budget, do everything you can to give you as many days as possible to film. Any way you can break it up. That's what I would say.
I love it. I love it. Well, listen, thanks so much for your performance. Thank you so much for creating this film, and thank you to your cast and crew for, you know, putting this film together. I loved it very much.
Thank you for taking the time to watch it. Thank you for having me. Thank you, all of you who you can't see behind the camera. Thank you.